All right, listeners, get ready for a Coppa Italia matchup that has us here at Tips Moto fired up. It's Lazio versus Napoli.
Oh, this one is going to be good.
And this is more than just a quarterfinal clash.
Mhm.
This is a preview of their Serie A battle that's coming up in just a few days.
Yeah, the tension is already brewing for sure.
So let's just dive right into this matchup, and we have to start with Lazio.
Okay.
Now, they're coming off of a surprising loss to Parma,
Yeah, that was a bit of a shocker.
which snapped their 5-game winning streak in Serie A.
Yeah, they were really rolling.
But don't let that fool you.
No.
Lazio has a knack for bouncing back.
Especially at the Stadio Olimpico.
Exactly.
They seem to really turn it on at home, and especially against Napoli.
Yeah, so for our listeners out there, maybe you're thinking about putting down a bet on this match.
Yeah, could be a good one.
What is it about their home form that makes them so dangerous at the Stadio Olimpico?
Well, it's a combination of things. The atmosphere is electric there, and the fans really get behind the team. And Lazio, I think they just feed off of that energy, and their attacking style really seems to click on their home turf.
So they're playing with a lot more confidence then,
Absolutely. It can be a nightmare for visiting teams.
especially Napoli.
Especially Napoli.
So that's something to keep in mind.
Oh, yeah.
Now, we know that Lazio's manager, Marco Baroni, he's likely to make some lineup changes for this match.
Right.
Guys like Pedro and goalkeeper Christos Mandas, they might get the nod.
Yeah, and this is where you see Lazio's squad depth really come into play.
Yeah.
They've shown us time and time again that they can switch things up and still be a threat.
Yeah, Pedro especially. He's a veteran.
Oh, yeah. Tons of experience.
Can bring a lot of creativity to that attack.
Exactly. His
Yeah.
vision is incredible. He can unlock a defense.
All right, so for those of you who follow Syria closely, do you think this rotated lineup weakens them, or does it make them more unpredictable?
Oh, I think it makes them more dangerous.
Okay.
Some people might see rotation as a sign of weakness.
Yeah.
But Lazio, they use it to their advantage.
Keep the guys fresh.
Keeps everybody fresh, adds an element of surprise, and they can tailor their tactics, depending on who they're playing.
Yeah, it keeps the other team guessing.
Absolutely.
Okay, so we've got a Lazio squad that's going to be fired up playing at home where they have historically done well against Napoli.
It's going to be a tough one for Napoli.
That's definitely something to think about.
Definitely.
Now let's talk about the giants in the room,
All right, Napoli.
sitting at the top of the Serie A table.
They're looking pretty good.
But they have shown some vulnerability lately, right?
Yeah, well, those matches against Atalanta and Inter Milan, they pulled out wins.
Yeah,
But they weren't exactly convincing performances.
not walks in the park.
No, not at all. And it showed that there might be a few cracks in the armor, a few weaknesses that Lazio could try to exploit.
Interesting. Okay, but even with that, you have to say their defense has been incredibly solid.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Rock solid.
9 clean sheets in Serie A.
That's not easy to do.
That's a state.
It really is. It shows you how organized they are at the back and the quality of players they have.
For sure. But here's the thing.
What's that?
Coach Antonio Conte might rotate his squad a little bit for this Coppa Italia match,
It wouldn't be a surprise.
which could change things up quite a bit.
Yeah, you might see guys like Giacomo Raspadori, David Neres, Leonardo Spinazzola.
Yeah, they might get their chance to shine.
Exactly.
Now, I know Napoli has incredible depth,
Oh, yeah, for sure.
but how do you see this rotation impacting their defensive stability? Could it create some opportunities for Lazio?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it?
Yeah.
We've been looking at this very closely here at Tips Moto.
Right.
And, Napoli's backups are talented. There's no doubt about it.
Right.
But when you disrupt a defensive unit that's been playing so well together, there's always a risk.
There's a chance for miscommunication.
Exactly. A little lack of cohesion, and Lazio, they'll be looking to capitalize on that, especially early in the match.
So we've got this tactical puzzle already starting to take shape here. A Lazio team at home
Yeah.
looking to take advantage of any defensive slip-ups from a maybe rotated Napoli side.
It's going to be fascinating to see how it plays out.
This is already shaping up to be a thrilling encounter.
For sure.
Now, before we get into some betting tips,
Okay.
we need to look at the head-to-head history between these two teams.
Right.
Because at Tips Moto, we always like to look at the data.
The data is king.
And the historical data here is pretty interesting.
Oh, yeah? How so?
While Napoli has generally had the upper hand in recent years, Lazio has had moments of brilliance against them,
Okay.
especially at the Stadio Olimpico.
Right.
And in their last 5 encounters, we've seen a real mix of results. Both teams have wins, a few draws sprinkled in.
So it's not as one-sided as some people might think?
Not at all.
Okay.
It's not a foregone conclusion.
No, not at all.
We've got this historical rivalry, some recent vulnerabilities on both sides, and now the added spice of these potential squad rotations.
It's a dream for anyone who loves to bet on football.
It really is a bettor's paradise.
It is. Okay, so let's get into the betting markets that we're really excited about here at Tipsmodo for this Lazio-Napoli clash.
Yeah, let's get down to it.
All right, so the total goals market, that's always a good one to start with, especially in a match like this where you've got two very different styles of play going head-to-head.
Yeah, you've got Napoli's really strong defense, and then Lazio at home, they like to attack.
Exactly. Yeah. So it makes predicting the total goals a bit tricky.
Yeah, for sure.
Our supercomputer has been crunching the numbers, and even it's struggling with this one.
Really?
Yeah, you could see it going either way.
Okay, so for our listeners who are maybe thinking about betting on the over or under for total goals, what are some key things to keep in mind?
I think the biggest thing is how Napoli's rotation might impact their defense.
Right. If they're playing with a slightly less experienced backline, could that open up some opportunities for Lazio?
Exactly. And on the other side of things, Lazio's attack might be even more potent at home, especially if Pedro's in the starting lineup.
Right. So there are definitely arguments to be made for both sides of that bet.
Absolutely. And that's what makes this match so exciting for betting.
So many possibilities.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, so total goals, that's a tough one.
Yeah.
What about the both teams to score market?
That's another interesting one.
That seems a bit more straightforward, maybe?
Well, it might seem that way at first, but again, you have to consider the nuances. You know, Lazio, they can score against anybody at home, but Napoli, they're really good at shutting down even the best attacks.
But Lazio has found ways to break through tough defenses in the past, right?
Yeah.
Especially at home. I'm thinking about those matches against Juventus and Roma last season.
That's true. They have. And even with some rotation, Napoli's defense is still going to be strong.
Right.
It'll be interesting to see if Lazio can find a way to exploit any weaknesses that might come up from those changes.
So you're saying there's definitely a chance that both teams could score?
Yeah, I think so, especially if Lazio can take advantage of any slip-ups at the back from Napoli.
Okay, so both teams to score. That's another one to keep an eye on.
Absolutely.
All right, so we've got total goals, both teams to score. Are there any other markets you're really liking for this match?
Well, if you like to look at individual players, the player performance bets could be really interesting in this one.
Okay, I like that because you're looking for those players who might have a breakout performance.
Exactly. And with both teams potentially rotating their squads, there could be some opportunities for some lesser-known players to step up.
So who are some players that our listeners should be watching?
Well, for Lazio, I think Pedro, if he gets the start, he could be a real difference maker.
Yeah, he's got the experience and the vision to really unlock a defense.
Exactly. And for Napoli, we're keeping an eye on Giacomo Raspadori.
Raspadori, okay.
Yeah. He's a young forward with a lot of potential, and he might get a chance to lead the line if Lukaku is rested.
Interesting. He's shown some real flashes of brilliance this season, hasn't he?
He has. So if he gets the start, he could be a real wild card.
Okay, so we've got total goals, both teams to score, and player performance bets to consider.
Those are some great places to start.
But I know you guys have been digging even deeper into this match.
Oh, yeah. We've been looking at all the tactical details, trying to find any little edges that could make a difference.
Okay. Now you got me intrigued. Let's talk tactics.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've talked about the teams, we've looked at some of those key betting markets, but now let's really get into the tactics.
Yeah, the X's and O's.
Because this match is going to be a real tactical battle.
Absolutely.
Lazio, we know they love to attack. They like to move the ball quickly, create chances, especially at home.
Right, and that's what makes Napoli's rotation so interesting, because if their defense isn't as solid as usual, Lazio could really take advantage of that.
We've seen them do it before against some of the best teams in Serie A.
Exactly.
But, you know, even with a rotated squad, Napoli is still going to be organized at the back.
Oh, yeah. They've got that defensive system ingrained.
Yeah.
You know?
It's all about discipline and communication.
Right, and that's what makes this matchup so intriguing. It's that clash of styles.
Can Lazio disrupt that rhythm, or will Napoli just be too strong defensively?
It's really a toss-up.
All right, so for our listeners who are maybe leaning towards a Lazio win, what should they be watching for?
I'd say pay attention to how Lazio starts the match.
Okay.
Are they pressing high? Are they trying to force Napoli into mistakes?
Yeah.
If they can disrupt that Napoli rhythm early on, they might just have a chance.
And for those who are backing Napoli, even with the changes, what should they be looking for?
Watch their defensive shape. Are they staying compact? Are they communicating? Are they disciplined? If they can do that, they should be able to control the match.
This is going to be a great match.
Oh yeah, no doubt about it.
And a great opportunity for our listeners to test their football knowledge and win some money.
And that's where Tips Moto comes in, you know?
That's right.
We're here to give you the insights you need to make smart bets.
We've got detailed breakdowns of both teams. We've got player analysis, head-to-head stats, and of course, our expert predictions.
All tailored for you in Kenya.
So if you want to take your betting to the next level, head over to our social media pages.
Find us on list-specific social media platforms here.
You'll find exclusive content, betting tips, and so much more.
Don't miss out. Join the Tips Moto community today.
And as you watch this match unfold, ask yourself, will Lazio's attack be enough to break down that Napoli defense?
Will experience win out over young talent?
This match has it all, folks.
Enjoy the match, and good luck with your bets.
We'll see you next time for another deep dive.